Hello, Colin. First batter up. Nura, hello there. Don't forget the protocol lookup column says male 26 England. So M26 England. So you, Nura, you can do F or whatever your gender is, and then age and where you tuning in from. Jeremy is here. Says, hello, Maron, watching from Cornwall in UK. Thank you for that. 30 years old. Thank you. Male. Thank you. M30 UK. That's the easiest way for you guys, so you don't have to type your little fingers too much. Too much. Annie is here. Annie says 23 Pakistan. Annie, the protocol is F. You know, in this day and age, we have to ask. So even though if it's so, you saw F for female and 23 and Pakistan. So, so it'll be. It says, ever since I saw my ex, it's really hard for me to not think about him. Yeah, okay, many things in life is hard, so no worries. That's normal. So, did you expect things to be easy? Have you ever found anything easy when you were growing up, going to school, trying to learn something or doing something? Everything is hard at the beginning. But the beauty of it is when you do something that is hard at the beginning, oh, you get used to it, and no longer that thing seems hard anymore. Because why? It was hard because you didn't know how to do it. Once you know how to do it, it's no longer what used to be hard is hard. It's the fact of life. When you become skillful at something, it becomes your second nature. It's easy to deal with. But when you're afraid of it, what am I going to do? What happens to me if this doesn't work out? Well, you figure out what to do. What were you doing when this thing didn't even exist? When you guys were not in a relationship, what were you doing? You're still living, you're still happy, and you're still hoping for some relationship to happen. So the same thing. Now, no different than before this relationship. You're still hopeful, you still would want some relationship to happen. And just as this happened, next one will happen too, whether you want it or not. And you say, but I want this one. Why? Why would you want the one that is not with you? Why would you want the one that is not working? Why would you keep wanting to drive a car that its engine is not working? Why would you constantly want to take the bus that it goes to the wrong direction? Why? You change it. You have a choice. You don't have to be miserable. The thing is that you think, oh, my relationship didn't work out. So that was the only girl who loved me, or whatever your situation is. And therefore, I don't know what to do. Where is the next girl coming? Or where's the next relationship coming? They'll come. How did this came? Where did this come from? Did you know about it? You slept, and in your dreams, the powers came, say, thou will have a relationship tomorrow. You will meet someone. No, it didn't. Did it? It didn't. It just happened. You didn't know. So you're in the same position now. You don't know, but it will happen whether you know it or not. So if you simply love yourself and value yourself and stop valuing what doesn't value you enough, then you will gain confidence about you want to qualify someone. Not that anyone in the past or whatever, for whatever reason, is qualified, even though when they do not pay attention to you. That's when you respect yourself and love yourself. And when you do that, then you'll begin to move on easily because you say, I deserve to be in a relationship where the other one also wants to be in a relationship with me. Then we got something going, something to work on. And he says, please tell me how not to think about it. Okay, I just did. It says, 4 years since I saw him first, and I think about this person 24/7. That's your problem. There's no mystical powers that makes you think about him 24/7. You think if you don't, then that feeling and that relationship that you guys had will disappear. Well, it's already disappeared. News. And as soon as you recognize that what has disappeared does not deserve your attention, and as soon as you realize that whether you think about it or you don't, it's not any remedy to your life. Your life is about actuality, not memory. And I've explained before why you keep going in there. Yeah. Because 4 years you've been with this guy. Yeah. As I understand it. And before you met each other, listen to me carefully. I'm not going to be saying all these things all the time. You guys got to use it because it's the fact. And if you learn it, you'll be fine. Otherwise, you'll not know why you're thinking about this guy. For 4 years, you've been, in this relationship. Before you guys met, you had a certain routine and order in your life. There were certain things you were doing on your own, individually. I don't know, gym or, something you liked, some school you were, some job you were doing, whatever it was. There were certain things from the time you would wake up in the morning till you sleep, you would be doing during that day. Those things called mechanical process. Hmm? Those mechanical process, the things that you do during your daily life, create a routine. That routine creates you to have an order in life. That would be your order. Hmm? In that order, you find normality, psychological security, occupation in the mind. So your brain, your mind is finding security because the mind doesn't find security in the same way that your body finds security. Your body finds security when you're sitting like this with me and you see your ears are here, your hands, wrist, and elbow, and limbs and legs, and everything is in place. So they're here. You're in an apartment or home and the door is locked and you're in a good part of town. So your physicality brings physical safety to your body. So your body is safe. That's how your body feels safe. But your mind doesn't find safety in the safe physical environment. Your mind finds safety in order of things, in doing mechanical processes, in doing things. The mind finds security when you get up and say, I got to wash my face. I got to make tea or make coffee. I got to put my clothes on. I got to go to take a bus. I got to go to work. I got to go to school. The mind is busy. Through occupation, mind finds security. So mind finds security in the order of things. Body finds security in the physical safe area. Now, what happens when you get together with someone? Your mechanical process that used to be individual, all by you, done all by you all day long, comes to be in two parts. One would be stuff you would do, and one the stuff that you would be relying on the other person to do, or you would do it jointly together. Go for coffee, going to talking, texting each other, talking about things, and whatever, being intimate, holding hands, whatever. All these new mechanical process would be introduced into your life in addition to how things used to be before you were doing stuff on your own. Then through some time you will compromise and they both become kind of in the same cluster, one group of things that you were doing. The mechanical process, the order of your life becomes a product of two people's mechanical processes, a product of two people's efforts. So your order in life no longer is individual, is now based on actions and the lifestyle of two people. And that becomes your norm, your routine, your order. That's where your mind finds, the mind of the couple finds security in the new order. Now, when the breakup happens, what happens? Those things that you guys used to do together, going to parties, going to cinema, going to date, going to dinner, going to gym, going texting each other, all this that breaks down. Those mechanical processes that you guys were doing it together don't happen anymore. So it's a breakdown. When that breaks, what breaks? The routine breaks. What breaks? The order breaks. So the order of life where your mind would find security, the order of life where your mind finds security is now broken. So where your mind finds security is no longer there. So what is the mind going to do? Going, it doesn't have a place to feel occupied, to feel there is a routine in life, to follow it, to feel secure. Because remember, we said the mind doesn't find security in the physical environment, find security in routine of things, in order of life, in doing things, occupation. Now that the order of life between you two, the breakup, is no longer there, where is the mind is going to find security? In the memory. Because the mind knows that in the memory, the old stuff, how it used to be, is still there. It's recorded. So it keeps going in the brain, in the memory. So the mind keeps going in the memory. And while it's in the memory and feels safe and secure because it remembers how things used to be and it feels comfortable, so stays in there. That's why you're there 24/7, to feel secure. Hmm? And while you're in there, who else is there in the memory? The guy, the partner, whatever your relationship is, the other side, the girlfriend, the boyfriend. It's also in there, in the memory. Your mind is trying to find security through the memory, but while in the memory, finds interaction and the presence of this other person. You will then think, see, I feel comfortable now. It's because I'm thinking about him. No, it's because your mind is finding security in the memory, in the recording, in the order of things that is recorded in the memory. That's what the comfort is there. But also the guy is there or the girlfriend is there. So you think it's them. So that whole comfortable setting makes you think, I got to have him or have her back. Then you feel, that's the only way I can get my balance back. No, there is a other way to get your balance back, not to be in the memory, to create new mechanical processes. Just like before, when you were in a relationship, you had a mechanical process, therefore you had a routine, therefore you had an order, and things were fine. Now you got to create new mechanical process, the things that you like to do again, new stuff that you like to do, through which you will create a new routine. And through a new routine, you will find a new order after a while in your life by having done all these new things, new exciting things, new interests and things that you pursue, things you want to learn, things you want to accomplish, new friends, new rhythm, and new routines. And then you create a new order. And this new order, mind finds security again. So it no longer keeps going to the memory to find security because you created the new order and you find security in there. Therefore, if it doesn't go into the memory, you'll have an easier time to move on and forget about this guy because you wouldn't be so involved in your comfort zone by you constantly going into the memory. And if you don't go in there, you have a better chance to forget the guy because he's not always in your face, or your girlfriend, or however. So your answer is to create new mechanical processes, new interests, pursue other things you want to learn, you want to accomplish, create a new order, and through that new order, your mind finds security. Then your mind and body both will be coordinated, and again, you're off to the races for new next opportunities. All right. Hopefully that was helpful to you. By the way, have you guys noticed the new t-shirt? This is the merch we have for this channel. Different, very, very good quality stuff. Very soft, very good, all cotton. And you have choices there, different colors and different sayings that I have said. These are my sayings that I have used them to be printed on it. And this is the logo of the site, of the channel. So you can support the channel by picking up some of these, bunch of these, and enjoy their hoodies. So, fall is coming, and there are other short sleeves and stuff like that for training or whatever it is that you want to use for. So I just ordered a bunch myself. There's this one. This one says To stop time, you must remove thought out of the consciousness. To stop time, you must remove thoughts out of the consciousness. And I have another one. For example, these are some of the sayings. There are lots of sayings that you can choose what you wanted to say on it. This one says, there are no fear unless you compare what it was with what it is or what it will be. There are no fears unless you compare what it was to what it is or what it will be. So these are things that you can enjoy and use it. You got to wear t-shirts anyhow, so might as well buy it from the channel so the channel gets some money and we'll have possibility to advertise and do things that we want to do. All right, having plugged that, let's go to Jeremy Bailey is 38. Thank you for that. Not 30. Oh, you just gained 8 years in about two paragraphs. All right. Okay, I knew we just did that. Phil Jones says, Phil 27 UK. A girl said to me, he says, she didn't expect me to love a deep voice, to have a deep voice. Does she think I'm not masculine? What? A girl said to me, she didn't expect me to have a deep voice. That means you have a deep voice. Okay, so does she think I'm not masculine? What the fuck is that? Why would you even give a shit about interpretation of some comment that somebody made instead of focusing on, I don't give a shit what comment they make. If it's derogatory, I don't give a shit. If it's positive, it's good. And she didn't say anything bad here. She said, I didn't expect you have a deep voice, and you have a deep voice. Obviously, she likes it. So what's the big deal? Why are you so insecure to think that, oh, I gotta have her approval? Uh, if she tells me I'm good, then I'm good. If she tells me I'm bad, what if she said I don't like your voice? You'd say, okay, that's your choice. Good for you. Go find somebody who's got the same character and looks and things that I have, plus a better voice to your liking. So I can't help you with that. I can help you with who I am, how I look, and it's just like if you didn't look good as you do, I wouldn't be interested, and I couldn't, you couldn't do anything about it. So the voice that I have, maybe you don't like. That was if you didn't have a good voice, but obviously she says you do. So stop being a pussy, Phil. All right, don't be so caught into what she said. What she says defines me. No, it doesn't. It defines none of you. If you're a girl or a boy, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the other person says. It won't define you. You're defined by your own values. You're defined by your vetoes and choices in life. You're defined by your actions. You're defined by how you comply with your standards that you wanted to stay no matter what. And that's who you are. It doesn't matter if somebody tells me I'm not good looking. Oh, we all know I am. So what the heck? I mean, it's important if you feel good about yourself. Yeah. You're not there to wait for someone's opinion to make any changes in your mood or your belief about yourself, including negative opinions of your own brain when it malfunctions. So understand this carefully. You're only identified by your own values and choices, nothing else. Your actions, values, and choices. Your intellect. Intellect, awareness is not the same as brain. So what brain conjures up is never you. You are the judge of what brain conjures up, what brain's opinion and suggestions are. Just like you're the judge of what other people's opinion and suggestions are about you, not to follow and identify and define yourself by their comments and opinions. Same way with your brain. Okay, Hope you understood that. Let's go on to Noura, 35, Dubai. Ahlan wa sahlan. I think that's the right thing to say. And Noura says female. Thank you for that. Yes, Colum, you are. See, the idea that you have to make sure of that should go. You don't need to make sure of that. That doesn't. That's not going to change. It's like you have a car you're driving and the windshield is clean on a sunny day, and suddenly it rains or there's some debris or the flies stick on it, and then you say, "Oh, will this windshield have to be now? It's changed now. Cannot see through it. No, it's just foggy. Just clean it up." There are statics on it. That's all. Just pour water, wash it up. In other words, this means nothing has changed in you. Just ignore and polish up, clean up the window by focusing on what it is that you prefer to focus, not what the brain tries to make you focus. What you prefer to focus. Keep coming back. In Aikido, we had the exercise that the students would grab on the bow, the staff in their hands with one foot forward and this position. And then the instructor would come and hit the staff with another staff. And usually, if the person is not extending energy, this is what would happen. Let's say we're all holding this, and the instructor comes and hits this. So, for the people who are not extending energy, this would go here and stay here because he just created a distraction or created a new position, and this staff was dead. So, went here and stay here. But when we extend energy through our body and through our finger and through the staff and out goes from the tip of the staff to the ends of the universe, there's an energy flow going through, and you're holding this with energy flowing through the staff, not dead. So when the instructor would come and hit it, it would come back. That's when there's energy flowing through this because it has its own direction and flow of energy. So you hit it, it comes back. But it doesn't, it's dead, you hit it, it stays. Same thing with everything else about you. Every time the brain wants you to think about something, suggest something, you simply ignore it and come back with your own focus on what you prefer, what you suggest, what you know, what you prefer, what you choose. So all these distractions, the brain comes, boom, boom. Focus back. Distraction, focus back. Distraction, focus back. Static, focus back. Makes you think about something else that is annoying you and you don't agree with, you don't like it, focus back on what you want. Keep doing it. Ignore. Do not argue. Don't say, why'd you put me here? I don't want to be. Just do what you do. Come back. Don't have to argue. Don't have to start fighting with it. Suggestion, negative thoughts, something you don't prefer, something that is not in line with your values, come back. Meaning energy, focus forward. Your intention, your plans, your preferences comes back to your mind. No matter what else the brain suggests, you keep bringing it to what it is that you prefer and you think it's the way you want it to be. Yeah. All right. That's called extending key. In this case, we interpret it for this kind of challenges. All right, let's see what we have here. Noura says, I'm very tired of breakups. I've been through many. I just gave up. Are you probably very honest and you expect the other side to be the same and with good intentions? and you're hoping to ride on a boat in an ocean which there's no waves. That will never happen because the nature of ocean is to have waves. If there's no waves, there's no energy in the ocean. Now, how you navigate through the wave is the answer, not expecting an ocean with no waves. How you navigate through these challenges of relationships, it's the way to deal with new relationship. Not keep doing the same thing and expecting the same thing, and if they don't necessarily come out perfect, then you don't know what to do with it. It's a negotiation, it's a game. So learn the game. It's no big deal. Train them. Corral them to learn how to deal with you. Take initiatives. Phil says in HOCD, when I see a mail, I have an urge to laugh because I know my brain is about to question attraction, but I know it's not true, so I don't really feel anything, but then I get anxious. No, don't. Because you interpret that laugh, you think, oh, I'm trying to hide something. No, it is actually fine. Why? Because you don't want it to be the gender that you're not. Simple. It's not a sin not to want to be something that you're not. And it's not a sin to protect what you are, what you like to be, against what the brain suggests or what other people may be, saying shit about it. Whatever your gender is, that's what you love to be. So protect it. And there is no sin to protect it. Yeah. It's your right. You know? So, um, nah, nah. These are all thoughts. Remember, the thought that has gone, the brain that has gone malfunction, it makes thoughts that it's not supposed to, because caudate nucleus is supposed to shut it down automatically, and it's malfunctioning. So when the negative thought shows up, which it shows us in every human being's brain, it's not automatically shut down because of the malfunction. That's what it is. And when it happens, you just have to recognize that that's why it's not going away. You're questioning everything because you're trying to, you don't know what's gone malfunctioning. You think it's actually functioning properly, and the same malfunctioning brain is the one who's interpreting things to you. So you can't actually rely on the bullshit that is kind of suggesting to you after you have laughed at it or you're comfortable with not paying attention to it. And it comes back with something else. Just ignore. Don't get in a conversation with the malfunctioning brain. Just rely on your awareness and rely on your values and rely in how everything has always been and rely on simply focusing on your choices and vetoes. That's all. And keep doing that. It rewires your brain through neuroplasticity. And have a good sleep. Good sleep. Because neuroplasticity happens in resting time. All right. User 20, what's up? Christoph here. Hello, Christoph. Says good will forgive. Hello, sir. Good will forgive says hello, sir. Doctor. Listen, thank you for the honorary title. I'm not a doctor. I want everybody to always know. I've said that a million times. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychotherapist. My research and the books that I've written is based on my research, my findings, my uh, learning from the masters of hundreds of years ago about the psyche, about the movement of the mind, and my own research in neuroscience and so on, and findings and experiences in life and so on and so forth. So please don't call me that. I don't want any misunderstanding. Nura says it's very difficult through social distance. Yeah, it's difficult. Look, it's difficult. Yeah. Hence, check this out. Can you read this? It's not important how difficult it is. It's important that it's possible. That's all you have to focus in life. Everything is difficult. But it's not important how difficult it is. It's important that it's possible. Hmm? The possibility of something is important, not how difficult that thing is. Most good things are difficult. Huh? Protecting yourself is difficult. Living with the lifestyle that you prefer is not as easy as it used to be for some, and then for others is now easier than what it used to be. Depends on what your gender is. But anything that you want to do according to your preferences is not as easy these days. There's so many distractions, so many things from other people, different opinions. Even your own brain comes up with malfunction and throws in all kinds of monkey wrench in your own values and so on, tries to convince you. These are all things that is either malfunctioning or just things that happens in the world, and you just need to rely on your awareness, on your values, and stick to them and protect them. Life is not as easy and simple as it used to be. So many things are going to be challenging. More people are educated today, so getting a job is not as easy as it used to be. Getting a degree is maybe not as easy as it used to be because there's so many more educated people and smarter people are now through education, through time have been developed. So it's competition is a little more fierce. So all these things have a degree of difficulty. But if we wanted to focus on difficulty of something, we would never get anywhere. Look, if our ancestors from thousands and thousands of years ago, they felt things are difficult. So, so they would give up. We wouldn't be here. How many difficult inventions and difficult paths and difficult, um, you know, um, accomplishments have been made through the history by things that was very very difficult even to today's standards. No, look at the history. Different countries, different nations have accomplished throughout the years, throughout the history. It's difficult. It must have been very difficult. The old ways of doing things, all the wars and all the challenges and diseases and all that. But they they stepped foot forward. Regardless of how difficult it was, they tried. And then some succeeded. And then we elevated to a different level. And so on and so on and so forth. Same thing. Today is no different. Life still at every historic time has its own challenges and difficulties. But we must focus on the fact that it's possible. Not that it's difficult, because everything is difficult. All right, having said that, let's go on to Philip Milovic says, "Hey man, hey woman." I don't know what to say because it says F. Oh, it's for Philip. Oh, okay. Hey man. All right. Hey man back. So don't forget the protocol. Age, gender, where you're tuning in from. Goodwill Forgive said, I need to clear up a misunderstanding. We had a previous stream. Oh, really? Okay. I had a question to do with my 27-year-old girlfriend who have been with for 5 years, but there was a typo and I typed seven. Ah. Well, thanks for that. Because I was about to give you a lot more shit, and I just said, okay, okay, good man. Yeah, I was really freaked out. I said, "You're giving me some kind of a bullshit. One of these trolls were either crazy or just simply fucked up." So thank you for clearing that. And yeah, check whatever you guys write. You know, don't believe what you're typing. Often, when I want to type on my phone, the alphabet I and O always is mixed up. I want to put an O, put I comes in. So there are many other little things that can really mess it up. You know, that really freaked me out, and it really because you didn't correct it right there. And I don't know. So, okay, thank you for clearing that up. So, I guess on that note, I don't know what the rest of it was, but this is at least good news. Mr. High Class says, male 34, Holland. Says, I overthink everything and having trouble living in the moment. Yes, very important. I know I'm overthinking, but I just can't stop thinking about everything, even when I think I can't control it. You can't or you can. I can't stop thinking about everything, even when I know, even when I know I can't control it. Well, why do you want to stop thinking? You don't need to stop thinking. Let the thoughts be. It's like saying, I want to stop the river so I can see the water. You just look at the water, any corner of it that you want. You don't have to keep looking at the whole river. If you want to look at the water, you don't have to keep looking this. Water, water, it's moving. No, you just take one porn and look at that and enjoy it, relax with it. So thoughts are like a river, constantly coming, yeah? You don't have to catch all of them. You don't have to interpret all of them. Why is this here? What did it say? What does it mean? First of all, you're not the brain, brain is not you. You're not thoughts, thoughts are not you. So it doesn't matter what's out there. You don't have to find out why they're there. They're there and have nothing to do with you because they're not your thoughts. They're brain's thoughts. You're not responsible for their production. Secondly, you're supposed to be judging them, meaning you let them be like the river. You pick a point that you're interested in that point of the river. It's deep or it's shiny or it's nice flow on that very spot. So you just enjoy that, pick that one and enjoy it. So if there's a thought that you think is useful, you pick that thought. The rest of them let go. You don't have to hold all the thoughts because they've been produced, so I have to see what they are. No, you have no mandate, no need, no necessity for actually comprehending or focusing or choosing or paying attention or interpreting any thoughts that shows up in your brain. None. That's brain's mandate to make thoughts. Your job is not to follow what it does and figure out why it's there, because there is no reason for it be there. The brain has no reason to making thoughts. It just makes thoughts. You're supposed to see if it's useful to you or not. And most of them, you just don't even pay attention because you're paying attention to what it is that you have conjured up, what it is that you're busy with, what thoughts you have initiated. There's a difference. There's a thought that you initiate, you use the apparatus of the brain and make thoughts with the inventory of the things that is in the consciousness for a certain purpose and reason for advancing your what it is you want to accomplish out in that day. And there are brains using, and then there's brain that using his own apparatus making thoughts. That is his job. And therefore, while you're doing your own thing, you don't pay any attention to what the brain does. None. Hundreds of thousands of thoughts, you don't care. You just focus on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. If you're not thinking at all about anything specific, you have no mandate, you have nothing you want to do, and then these thoughts come up, ignore them. Or you just simply say, oh, okay. You notice them all, but you ignore them. You don't have to get into the roots of where does it come from? What does it mean? Why is it here? I should know. No, why? Because it's like trying to pay attention to someone who's got some kind of a mental difficulty and it's uttering some stuff out of his, like you pass by the street and you see somebody's saying all kind of thing. At first you think they're talking to you, or then you think they're angry about something. Then you figure out, oh, they're just having a little bit of an issue. They're just talking to themselves, or what it is that has created this condition in them. They are just talking. So what do? You try to stand there and see what they say and make sense out of it. No, you say it's none of my business. It's not mine, and it doesn't involve me. It's irrelevant to me. So you pass by. Same thing about the brain's thoughts that is making 90, 80, 90,000 of them a day. You ignore and consider it as an issue or consider it irrelevant to you because they are. They're not your thoughts, they're the brain's thoughts. Its job is like any other organs that you have. They have a job, they have a mandate. And they do what they do, not because you wanted them or you didn't want them. They just do that. And you judge them. You see if it's, you got to do something about it or not. Yeah. All day long, intestine is busy trying to dissect, try to analyze, try to um, digest, and try to break down all the nutrients of different kinds and take the energy out of them, and then what is not turned into energy turns into feces, accumulates them molecule by molecule. Yeah, but all day long you don't pay attention to it because you're busy with doing other things. It's doing its job, and you're doing your job. When it's time for you, it gives you a signal that you got to go to the bathroom and let the residues go out so the intestine continues its flow. Brain is also doing the same, is throwing shit out. You're not supposed to pay attention to it. Only when it's time for you to maybe find one of them useful, you got to do something with it, or you just have a short opinion about some kind of a dilemma or whatever, and that's it. But you don't focus on its activities all day long because it's making some production of something. You don't. You ignore it like you ignore your intestine. Other organs are doing their things, and there's so many things that they're fixing and not fixing, and or maybe sometimes you have a little bit of pain. And what do? Some of the pains you actually pay attention to, some of them you just ignore because it's just maybe some muscle cramp or whatever. Your knowledge helps you. So now your knowledge have come to the point that you know that the brain does make lots of shit up, that none of them are valuable. So when your knowledge is there that the brain can make shit up and it's useless, irrelevant, is like a crazy part of you that constantly comes up with bullshit. So what do? You ignore. Now the knowledge tells you you don't have to pay attention to everything that this idiot does. So you don't. You just pay attention to what it is you choose to pay attention. So your choices and vetoes is what sets the tone for your day. Brain keeps making things, you veto, veto, veto. Don't even, after a while, you become so good at it that you don't even notice these thoughts until you need something. Then you go search and see if there's some kind of a calculation that you can do to help yourself or whatever it is that you want to, accomplish. Otherwise, you don't follow what the brain constantly conjures up. That's, ludicrous. All right. Matthew says, I'm from Canada. Welcome. And Matthew, your age, gender, and what part of Canada are you coming from? We have Lukacs Kowalski says, hello, Miran. Hello, Lukacs. Says, hope you're all good. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Lukacs. Let me know age and where you're tuning in from. Aishwari Bajpal says, Aishwari 23, India. Aishwari, I'm not so familiar with the names exactly. So maybe you like to put an M or F, however you signify your gender, so I would know. Your picture is very small, so I can't really tell. Looks like you're a gentleman, but it says, hi, Meran. We've talked on Instagram before. Oh, have we? My ex broke up this May. We've been breaking up a lot, actually. She was what? For this whole last year, continued the next, okay? For this whole last year, she have said things like I'm ugly, dumb, and whatnot. My friends hate her, and everyone who knew what she did hates her too. But why can't I? Because that's the only source you can get some sex, and you don't think of yourself much. We have expression says you're pussy whipped, meaning you think pussy is everything. While it has a high value in our eyes, but I'm being um, you know I'm just talking the way I am because I want to get it through your head. That the reality of it is at again, your age 23, it's not like girls are lining up, and especially in that neck of the wood, girls are treated like a commodity, and they know it because you can't have sex easily with anybody. It's not so free like the Western society. So therefore, you are bound to think of them as something amazingly highest value, which women are generally a highest value, and kudos to them. However, it makes it more difficult for you to, when a woman pays attention to you in that neck of the wood, to ignore it, because you think, who else is going to pay attention to me? It's so difficult here, and it's a privilege that she smiled at me, or she's my girlfriend, and they know it because there's lineup for everyone who wants to get into their pants. They think it's because there's also high and mighty and great. They don't think that this is not their doing. It's the fact that men are programmed to want to get into their pants. So their popularity is not because they have accomplished amazing things in their lives that everybody is now, you know, interested in them. It's because men are made that way, especially in that neck of the wood. They can't get enough of it. There's not enough opportunities. So every one of these girls have a little bit of a stronger hand to play. Hmm? So you need to rise above this whole bullshit and value yourself and have certain standards and expect a woman to meet your standards. If she says you're ugly, says thank you very much, that's the door. I don't want to be with someone who considers me ugly. And I don't need you or anybody to try to put me down, because the only way you can feel good and great is by putting other people down. That's not a character that I want to be around with. There are two ways of having the tallest building in town. One is to destroy all other buildings. Then you haven't done anything to your building. It looks bigger, mighty, and better than all the other buildings. Why? Because you destroyed all the other ones. And why do you do that? Because you have no talent of making your own building, no talent to rise the building higher, to have new technologies and keep building and developing it. When you don't have talents like that, you start destroying other buildings. When women or men, however, and human being doesn't have enough confidence and talent about their own abilities to make something out of themselves, therefore they cannot become any better, or they cannot become important. So their only way to become important is to knock somebody else down. That's a narcissistic asshole. So you want to be away from this kind of a shit as far as you can. She's an asshole, she's a low life, and she's disrespectful and unappreciative. I don't give a shit how she looks like, if she looks like God knows what, or she looks like whoever, shit of the, in the street. Her behavior makes her look like shit, feel like shit, and being with her makes you shit. So grow a pair and tell her, if she calls you ugly, she should go find somebody else. If she calls you dumb, then she must be too smart for me. Then you go. You tell her. Say, well, if you think I'm dumb, that means you're too smart for me. I don't want to be with someone who's too smart. And if you think I'm ugly, then that means you need somebody who's much more handsome than I am. Then you got to go and find that. Because I don't want to be with someone who's got a bad mouth, bad energy, and tries to put me down because she's so low and she can't make anything out of her, that she thinks the only way she can rise above me is to put me down. And that kind of person has nothing to do, no place in my life. Bye bye. If you really want to build yourself, build your character, and don't worry about, oh, I can't touch her anymore, I can't kiss her, or I can't fuck her, or anything like that. If you don't worry about that, then you will become a man that you should be with standards. And your next girlfriend would be a qualified, nice girlfriend because you looked for niceness, not for, I don't know, nice body, or you're horny or whatever that you chose her. I don't know. Lack of availability or whatever. Okay, I hope that helps you out. No, you broke up with her? Have you? Thank God if you have. You didn't tell me that. You say that we don't follow each other. Oh, you mean on Instagram or whatever? But she watches my Instagram stories, and I kind of stored started putting up stories so that she watches and gets bothered and maybe come back. No, 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 no. You move on. You're 23-year old. At age 23, you hardly know yourself, let alone know what kind of woman you want. She's a piece of shit. If she treats you at this stage, she's got a big narcissistic, idiotic brain, and you let her go find her own. I don't care how beautiful she may look. Even if she looks like Ashwarya, what is that? That girl's beautiful Indian game girl is gorgeous. Is that, even if she looks like that, you let her go. All right. So you don't want her back. You don't want her back. And do your Instagrams according to what it is that you want to do, not because what she likes or what she doesn't like. Don't. That will condition you to become deeper and deeper in the hole, to the point that you will start losing your own respect. And when you lose your own respect, that's the end of time. Then nobody's going to give you respect, let alone a girl that you like. Hmm? So go on, expect to help yourself to, through these experiences, learn a thing or two about yourself. When you get about maybe 5 6 years from now, you'll be much older, you know a little bit more about yourself. That's the time you will have certain standards that you will be looking for in a candidate girlfriend. Right now you have no standards. All the standards you have, that she would have nice legs or nice boobs, or she looks good, or she dresses nice, or she smiles at you. That's it. At that age, we have no other standards. We don't know anything. All we know is, oh, she turns me on. That's it. But that's not good enough to have a girlfriend. She has to have manners, morals, interests, attention, you know, uh, some compatibility and things that you guys can share. Not just, she's a girl, so she's got it and I want it. So she's got something that I want, but I've got nothing that she wants. That's a mentality there, because all guys want a girl, and the girls say, "Oh, I'll choose." No, she has to qualify for certain proper standards. She doesn't have it, you don't give a shit. Move on. Relationship doesn't happen between the physical touch only. Hmm? Relationship happens in here, in the consciousness, bonding on the consciousness level between two people. Hmm? So therefore, you can't decide that, oh, that's the right girlfriend for me because she looks pretty. Maybe at the outset, it's a good invitation to search and find out if you guys have things in common, but nothing more. There's no evidence that it will never work just because a relationship is based on, making each other horny. Well, that's not her doing. You're programmed to be horny. You're a heterosexual male, and you'll be interested in women. So that's nothing that she has created. She was born like that, look like that, and you're having a program to be attracted to her. That's it. So what has she done here? What is her role? Nothing. You gotta see if she's come up with her role. She meets up your standards, meets with your standards, measures up or not. She doesn't. Just the fact that she looks good and she's a female is not good enough to have a relationship with her. She got to bring some more stuff on the table, to the table. Yeah. Manners, morals, education, abilities, understanding, compassion, care, unselfishness, all these things. Stuff that she expects you to have, you got to expect her to have. You can say, if I'm ugly, why the fuck you're attracted to me? Huh? Why? So that means That's what your choice is. And anyhow, what you say is not what I am. So get lost. Just block her and go on with your life. She's not the last girl on earth, and she's not qualified to be your girlfriend. Anyhow, have a little respect for yourself. Rise yourself. You're better than her. The fact that the boys want that, what we know what they want from the girl, that makes them think that the girl is better than them. Why? Because they have a need. Hmm? If you understand this, then you will not give her the qualification of being better than you just because you have the need for certain intimacy. That's beside the point. That's not her credit. That's the way we are programmed. So understand that and move on. Okay, let's go on to the next. We don't want to turn this into a one-on-one consultation. You guys know that you can always go on my site, mind.seekstruth.com, and make an appointment on Skype, and we can discuss and explore together one-on-one on Skype what's concerning you. And always for new clients, when you register for 1 hour, I'll throw in another hour for the first session, and we'll have 2 hours, and we can have ample time to explore what it is that you want to talk about. And what else? Guys, especially people in India, please understand that I need you guys to promote this channel. There are a large number of people in India who need to understand, to get some help about certain things that they are looking for. And I know it's not so convenient for yourselves to find someone who knows a thing or two to help you out with understanding about your relationships or your, movement of your psyche and things like that. So you can, read my book that I have made it available for you on the site, or you can make an appointment with me, or you can come to live talks like this, or you can watch over 3,000 videos that I have on this channel. They're all free. So you have options that you don't have to pay, but you can get the consultations that you might be needing. But I need you guys, at least for all these 3,000 videos or the live talks, which are all free, to promote the channel, to not be selfish and not to keep it to yourself, and help others in India to know that this exists, this channel exists, and they can get some answers that they might be looking for about their relationships and so on. So I rely on you guys to promote this channel the best way you can. And if any of you know of a reputable company, which I guess Abhishek, one of our subscribers, is trying to find a very reputable and a company who is really capable and honest to promote the channel in India, where they write articles on it so people would know about it, or whether they they do certain kind of a advertising campaign, and depending on their price, I can negotiate with them, see what's feasible for this channel, and I'll pay them. But no middleman, just directly that company, as Abhishek is trying to do. So if you guys are personally in the business of, or just want to do a channel a favor, in your Instagrams that you're very popular or something, put these up. Take bits of it, 1 minute, make some efforts. If you've gotten some service out of this channel, if you've got some help from this channel, if you think it's valuable to your life, it's done good for you, then reciprocate. Take a bit of the good sayings that you like from the videos, put it on your Instagram or the TikTok or whatever it is. Promote the channel with the link to the channel. Help us to grow. It's been 9 years, and of course, as you all know, I've been doing my best for all of you, for 3,000 videos and umpteen hours of live streams, and helping out through the night here and there. All your emails and comments have been responded by me personally. So I think it would be not too much to ask for you guys to help the channel, because after 9 years, we still have what? Shy of 24,000 subscribers. There are many channels that are full of shit and they've got 800,000, 500,000 subscribers. Somehow we got to get the word out. So don't be stingy and promote it. Promote it on your social medias, however you see. If you care, do. I care, so bloody hell, show some back. Pressure is coming. Pressure. It's time to pay the piper. You are. Okay, now let's go on. Dr. Evil is here. And we have Dean Catford says the world is truly messed up now. Women think they have the right to talk down to men, and all this liberal left wing BS is attacking our masculinity. Right, you are. I'm not pulling anyone's leg, but who actually likes seeing women wearing trousers? like, like, come on, bro. What the fuck is going on with this snowflake work? That's right. At the same time, we should remember we respect, love, honor women at all times. We are gentlemen, we protect women, and we never allow any harm to come to women, especially from ourselves, our desires, whatever else we might think. Women are the center of this universe. They're the flowers of this universe. We should be kind to them, nice to them, but we should hold them high in value and respect them, and also understand and expect from them certain values that we think they have. Meaning they should be responsible, they should also meet certain qualifications. We should hold them high and expect a lot from them, because they're not the same woman as 500 years ago. They're educated, they're capable, they're strong, they can be good partners, and they have lots to offer, and they can accomplish anything they put their minds to it. So on that note, because they're much better than 500 years ago women, they're much more qualified, you should also expect a lot more from them. They should be cordial, they should be kind, they should be educated, they should be thoughtful, they should be offering you the same things that you're willing to offer to them. Yeah. So kindness, respect for them all the time, but at the same time, expecting high quality and proper behavior and values is also very important. Otherwise, you will not have the right partner in your life. Emily says, why do HOCD thoughts feel so real? Because brain is very powerful. Brain makes body move. Brain's world is virtual. Brain doesn't understand any difference between virtual world or actual world. So that's why when the brain conjures up something, when it's gone malfunctioning and conjures up something, it makes the body, because it believes it, because to it there's only one word, there's only virtual world. So when something comes up in its brain, in its screen, it believes it. When it believes it that it's being actual, because there's no difference between actual or virtual for it, then it makes the body react to it. When the body reacts to it, you become convinced that it must be real. Why? Because my body is reacting to it. You totally forget that your body is reacting to thoughts. Your body is not reacting to your gender or to your intellect or to your preferences. Not necessarily all the time. Your body is reacting to the malfunction of the brain. So that reaction is not an evidence of you having changed anything. That is showing you it's reacting to the brain who actually is malfunctioning in its signaling system, if it's now reacting to something that you never reacted before, that is not your gender, that is not in line with your values. So you educate yourself through watching the videos of the well-known psychologists and neuroscientists, and understand and educate yourself how HOCD behaves. and how the malfunction of the striatum area, caudate nucleus in the striatum area, which is supposed to be the automatic lever to shut down intrusive thoughts according to what your design and your program is. And when it stops functioning as it always did, there is a malfunction in the signaling system, then it doesn't shut down the intrusive thoughts that it always did shut down when it comes in. Because intrusive thoughts is part of everyone's um, uh, um, function. Intrusive thought comes to every human being's brain, all 8 billion of us at the moment. And later on, however number we're going to be, it's going to be in every single human being's psyche. Intrusive thought shows up. But we have a mechanism that automatically shuts down the intrusive thoughts based on our values and how our, inclination and how we're put together. But when it malfunctions, it doesn't do what it always did automatically. Then we say, oh, because it hasn't been shut down, it's still hovering, this thought must mean something. No, it just means there's a malfunction that you got to help yourself through neuroscience, rewire your brain by certain actions and certain behavior toward those thoughts, and then you will be able to rewire and bring the glitch back to behave as it always did. HOCD in many cases it goes out away by itself, but provided that you don't engage thinking about it, ignore what it's thinking about. I've got lots of videos on HOCD. Just put in HOCD on the channel search, and you'll see two major playlists, and also you'll see hundreds of videos on that. And then I've got the links for specialists in the field of psychotherapy and psychologists, Dr. Jan Weiner, Dr. Philipson, Dr. Owen. Dr. Owen was a researcher in neuroscience, but Dr. Schwartz. And these are, and many other therapists that I put in there. You can look at the links and educate yourself. And there's a video that I have that is, I highly recommend it to everybody to watch this. It's 45 minutes video. It's based on the report and presentation that Dr. Egnar did on the research that was done by Dr. Speary, a neuroscientist and neurosurgeon on the brain, and Dr. Penfield's work, and then Dr. Owen's work and Dr. Leibetz's work. And this particular production of mine is used many of the information that Dr. Egnar in his presentation produced, plus a number of extra little things, which you will see how powerful the brain is, and you will see the separation between brain and you. This is very critical to understand what Aristotle talked about 1,000 years ago, and now modern science through neurosurgery and neuroscience have proven beyond the shadow of doubt, that you're not the brain and the brain is not you. You're beyond the brain, and there are aspects of you and mind that the brain cannot even reach. You must understand. So therefore, these thoughts that show up in your head, they do not represent you. You do not have to follow it. You do not have to think that it means anything. They're irrelevant to you. They're brain's thoughts, not your thoughts. Now, here it is. I want you guys to all watch this if you haven't. This will give you, and of course, in the playlist that I have that is called Intrusive OCD, HOCD short videos. They're brilliant productions, and I must say brilliant because I haven't seen it anywhere else, that proves to you, logically proves to you, I have proven to you that you're not the brain is not you. You must watch those. And plus this one, which I call it very important video for your benefits. Here it is. I put the link down here, and there you go. Okay. Now, you guys know that I either have to go one by one or however else. I don't know how to get to your, if we don't get to your question, we don't get your question because there's so many questions. So I'm going one by one. The only way that I will jump, of course, it would be if there is any uh, out of line that comes through that I can pick. Daniel says, good evening. Daniel Barrington says, good evening. I am worried. Daniel, first, credentials. Who are you, meaning age, gender, and where you tuning in from? Says, I'm worried my girlfriend will break up with me when she finds out I can't dance. If she breaks up with you because she finds out you can't dance, the hell with her. She can go wherever. She can go jump in the lake because that's not a girlfriend. That's an idiot. If I have a girlfriend that she can't dance, that would be such a beautiful opportunity to bond with her and share with her and teach her together, train together. How did I learn? Well, I didn't know how to dance, but I danced to the rhythm, right? So I can share what I know. And that's a beautiful opportunity. That's a girlfriend who wants to learn from me. And that's the right boyfriend who wants to teach her. Otherwise, if I find out that she can't dance and I say, okay, you can't dance, well, what the hell? What does that mean? What does that mean? How old are you? How old are you, Danielle? You must be really young because that doesn't make sense. I mean, you say such a thing, I gotta write your name on the ugly stick and beat you on the head when you have your motorcycle helmet on, so you won't get hurt because I'm gonna beat hard on you. Because if you actually question and worry about that, if a girlfriend finds that you don't know how to dance, she leaves you. Fuck her. Not literally. It just means don't pay attention to her. you know, break up with her because that's some stupid woman. And I don't think anybody would ever be so stupid and shallow that would actually do that. I think you just have anxiety because you like her so much and you're trying to do everything to make her happy. And that's exactly why she's going to leave you because you're not being normal. You're being needy. You're worried even about if you can't dance, she's going to leave you. So she's the boss. So you're pussy whipped. In other words, you're not going to be able, with this attitude, to keep her interested in you. Why? Because most girls, not all, most girls don't have enough confidence in themselves. As soon as they see you're so all over them and you think of them as the world and that they're your world, they don't think of themselves as the world. So they say, if I don't think I'm much and this guy thinks I'm so much, there must be something wrong with him. That means he's not much. And if he's not much, I don't want him. That's the cycle of it. So you need to actually be a mature person by expecting things from her that is normal and logical. And if you expect or think that she has the right or she might actually leave you if she knows you can't dance, that's a wrong girlfriend. That's not a girlfriend you want to be with for one extra day. What's going to happen tomorrow if you don't have something else or had something and you lost it or whatever? Life has ups and downs. That's not a girlfriend. Anyhow, tell me how old you are. It seems like to me it's your first girlfriend or you're just somehow, I don't know. Okay, guys, remember to provide the protocol because I can't keep going back and forth. It just takes so much time. Thank you, Sid. Sid, male 33, Estonia, says, so happy to see you. Just wanted to say things are good with the girls. Okay, good. Glad to hear that. Yeah, remember, just ease up. Ease up. Sid, ease up. All right, going back to where we were. Ahmed Chatri says, that's a great talk. Once respect is gone, can't we start again? Yeah, well, why should it be gone? All right. Sonia is here. Says, hi, Mayor June. Hello, Sonia June. Where have you been? Missed you here. And hope you're doing well. Hope all is well with you. So, where are we? Where were we? Petr Adrian Borkuta says, hello, Meran. Mind that seeks truth. Yes. You changed your name. Yes, I did because I don't know. I thought I'd do something if I can maybe make it, I don't know. The views and the subscription were not rising. It was always remaining the same, or 200 subscriber a month. It wasn't enough. So I thought maybe I'll just change the name. Maybe Mind That Seeks Truth means nothing to people. Of course, the one point also doesn't, but it's short. And it says, this is Adrian, 42, male, aka Rocky. Yes, I remember that. Aikido, Judo, more force, less result. Uh, is it not, Mehran, in life also? Aikido is the way of life. Energy must always go forward. You must extend energy, extend ki always to the ends of the universe. So you'll have this energy flowing ahead of you, and to guide you at the same time is a powerful energy to keep away the weaker energies coming through or negative energy coming through, to kind of be this triangle that is moving forward, and all the negatives has no choice but going on the sideways and not being able to penetrate. It's like two rivers that are approaching. What happens when two rivers are approaching and hitting each other head to head? The one that's got bigger flow will turn the other one and move forward, right? So you want to have that energy extending forward by training yourself to become one and in line with the energy of the universe and the flow of the universe. So you'll have this humongous rush of energy always. So negatives would not affect you so easily because you've got a stronger energy going. So that's basically the way of life. And Fita says, hi, Meran. I am a 15-year-old boy who is straight with OCD and HOCD. I'm from Canada and my background is Persian. I'm struggling with loss of attraction. My attraction comes back by but leaves. Yeah. Well, and Fita says, and when it leaves, I'm fearful that I will forget what it feels like. No, you won't. You can't forget even if you wanted to. And soon as the fear comes in, all of my attraction towards woman goes away, whether I think about woman and can't get it back. No, no. These are all anxieties. And these are because you're diehard heterosexual, that you're so fearful of not being what you always loved to be. This is a natural feeling for many young boys who actually love who they are, what they are, and they love women, and they are afraid of wanting to constantly trying to make sure that they are and what they love to be will stay, because they're always in the turmoil of um, insecurity, psychological insecurity, physical insecurity. The whole world is insecure. They're 15-year-old. They don't know what the hell is going on in front of them in life. They don't know how things will progress. If they find the right girl, should how manly should they be to find the right girl, and what the image they've had of these manly features in movies, and mostly they're maybe ugly or weird looking, and that's what they've portrayed as real men to be. So if you're good looking and you're a young kid, you don't have that kind of a big muscles, and you find, oh, maybe that's not the way to be a man. No, you are the same man that they're trying to portray in the movies, but it's just that's an exaggeration of it. And, we have always thought that the men is like caveman style, rude, weird, ugly, or whatever. So, and you're trying to prove and make sure to yourself that you are. All of us have been like that since childhood. How can I prove that I am more than anybody else because I want girls to like me. So I have to prove that. I have to prove that to myself before I prove it to them. All these extra thoughts unnecessary because how you've been born and made in the wombs of your mom, it's done. And you liked women, that's the end of it. It's not never going to change. The brain is going to interfere with thoughts because brain psyche malfunctioning is part of our life, part of the biology that many things in ourselves could malfunctions from time to time. Brain is no exception. It also malfunctions. But when it malfunctions and causes all these statics and suggestions and thoughts and negative thoughts, things that are not within our values, and makes us all because we don't know what to do. Oh, brain said so. So it must be true because we think brain is us. So whatever brain conjures up, oh, I must be it. No. Brain is an apparatus. Brain is a machine. Brain is an organ. No different. It fucks up. It messes up. It malfunctions. It has difficulty in signaling system. It's all neurons. It's not you. If you watch the video that I put in here, you will see that through neurosurgeons and scholars have proven beyond the shadow of doubt that there are aspects of you and the mind that the brain cannot reach. Meaning, brain is not you, you're not the brain. What it suggests or conjures up, it's its own conjuring up. Brain doesn't know what thoughts is making, it just makes thoughts. I've explained that before. Now, if you wanted, you can always go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, make an appointment for 1 hour on Skype, and I will add another hour to it. But get permission from your parents. I want you to share this with them first. Get permission from the parents that they permit you to make this appointment and talk to me. And then we can talk. I also have links of famous psychologists and psychotherapists on the videos that I produced on HOCD, and like Dr. Jan Weiner, Dr. Philipson, and Dr. Schwartz, and you can read their books, you can watch their channel and educate yourself about HOCD, so it won't be a mystic to you that, oh, my brain said this, so I must be. None of that shit. And all what you see that is, my attraction is this and that, less to the woman now, and when it comes back, this is all nonsense. Nothing has gone away from you. All it is just statics. Doesn't let you hear the music. You've been listening to the music and enjoying it and having your tea and perfectly fine. But suddenly you can't hear it well, and you say, "Oh, will I ever be able to hear the music again?" It hasn't gone anywhere. Your hearing is perfectly great. It's just there's lots of sound of the automobiles and the train and all the other construction things and the statics and noise that has come to the picture, and it doesn't let you hear the music. Otherwise, neither the music has gone anywhere nor your ability to hear the music has gone anywhere. It's just statics that you need to simply push them away. Focus on what it is you want to hear. It's like sometimes you want to study in a room and there's so much music and crowd and people are talking, or maybe there's a party, but after a while you kind of tune it out. You don't hear the television, you don't hear the music, you don't hear the people, but you're actually focused on what it takes training. And then all these statics go where you're only doing what you're doing. Same thing here. With all this age and focus on wanting to prove to yourself that girls like me, I'm a stud muffin and all that, all that fresh air that you put on yourself unnecessarily, and all these, and the HOCD now, the malfunction of the signaling system of the brain, it's going to make it a little bit challenging, but nothing has gone anywhere. They're all there. It's like the window that you see perfectly, the view in the ocean and the sceneries, but it's now a little bit foggy and it's not clean. You just got to clean the window. Otherwise, the scenery hasn't gone anywhere. Just I got to clean the windows. Anyhow, you can make an appointment with me, provided your parents know about it and allow it. And then I'll add another hour. We'll have 2 hours for that 1 hour, and we'll explore a lot more stuff. And Sean says, hey, buddy. Hello, Sean. And Noura Muhammad says, thank you. You're welcome. Don't forget, guys, I expect you guys, I would appreciate it if you guys would promote the channel on your social media. Let others know such channel exists, such stuff is there. And Omar says, "Hi, Miran. Thanks so much for all your help material. I'm not a shallow person. I do not conduct myself or manage any of my relationships in a shallow, superficial manner. And yet, when I come to the topic of love, for rather lust, this is where I can see myself being uncharacteristically shallow, i.e., focusing too much on the exterior, the physicality of the other. And 44 years old Dubai. Yeah, well, that's normal. That's how we are. We men are shallow. We need to simply constantly be on the lookout for our shallowness. Why? Because we are a creature, heterosexual male is made and programmed for procreation. We don't question. Look, in the caveman's time, don't look at today. You're looking at one spot of the history and you think, oh, why am I shallow? Because this is what we are. Our gene is shallow, is only focused on finding a woman who's prettiest and make love to her if she allows it and make babies. We are used by nature to procreate. A million years ago, it wasn't like, oh, okay, you got to see if she's educated, if she's got a good heart, if she's going to be, very caring about the herself and, the things that she's supposed to do, if she's unselfish, if she's logical. None of that shit existed. It was all procreation. And it was based on what? What else was there? We couldn't even think. There was no ability of thinking or speaking a millions of years ago. This ability of thinking or speaking came to us only 40,000 years ago. So, what kind of conditionings have we received until the 40,000 years ago for millions of years that we lived? Lots of conditioning, right? That's not going to change just because we got a brain that can speak now and can think. Still, the same thing, instinctive approach and attraction to the woman exists based on her looks, her body, her looks, features. So expecting yourself not to be shallow, it's not reasonable. But expecting yourself to be aware that you're shallow, that's correct. Because we are. And if we really, now that our brain has the ability of thinking and speaking, then you need to consider the level of shallowness that you are and your expectations from women, because if she doesn't have certain characteristics and qualifications, and you just only go by what your ancestor for a million years ago were interested in, her looks, then that relationship is doomed. So today, now you got to be aware of this shallowness and expect the woman to bring a lot more quality than her looks. But if you only allow yourself to be choosing your mate based on her looks, then you're fucked. Because beautiful look doesn't mean that she's also intelligent, smart, caring, unselfish, compassionate, and all the values that high value women today um, possess. Hmm? So be aware of that. Don't expect it to go away. You will always be shallow. We will always, no matter how wise we are, we will always see a pair of legs and nice, mm, and the high heels and all the dude up or the nice dress, however it is. We don't question anything more at that moment. Oh, I can't be turned on. Let me see if she's got the university equivalent of education and the expertise in the neuroscience or not. You don't. You're not. That's not a requirement in the psyche from a million years ago when we had reptilian brain. You know, so so expecting yourself to be what you're hoping to be, it's silly. No, you can be shallow, that's fine, but be aware that you're shallow, and then in search of if this woman can bring some of the stuff that is really going to be a relationship builder, maker or breaker or not. Hmm? All right. No, this Phil, it's not fraud. You're just having to focus on what you need to focus to encourage neuroplasticity and rewiring of your brain. So keep focus on what it is that you know your preferences and you should be focusing on, as how it always been for you. So protect it and stay at it. Nova says, thanks for the great explanation on how intrusive thoughts can affect how your body reacts to the thoughts and how these reactions can make you fearful. Yes, you're welcome. Alexander Orid says, "How Meran?" Oh, says, "Hi Meran, how Meran? Howdy, hi Meran, how are you?" Alexander Male 34. In your previous live meeting, you have tell about Canadian neuroscientist who doc experiments about brain can reach the mind, can't reach the mind. Please, can you post it here? I did. I posted a link there. That was Dr. Penfield from Montreal. And alongside in the same video, you'll have a work of Dr. Speary, Dr. Owen, Dr. Leibert, brilliant experiments. They're Nobel Prize echelon of experiences. And FIFA says, my parents know everything. I had been dealing with HOCD for 6 months. I was with a psychologist to treat myself. Just my loss of attraction, I need to cure. Remember, your psychologist must be specialized in OCD and HOCD. A regular psychologist doesn't know shit about these things. It must be a specialist on OCD and HOCD. Yeah. If you can afford it, if you can afford it, have your mom and dad contact Dr. Phillipson's staff. And if you can afford it, these are highly accredited psychologists specializing in OCD and HOCD. So, otherwise, as I mentioned, you can also see if your parents want you to continue talking to me. And he says, I've also been watching your videos to help me a lot these past 6 months as well. Good. Excellent. Says, thank you. Okay, good. Excellent. And Delegani says, I deleted all social media to take time out. Only kept YouTube to watch these videos. Okay. Abolish Satanism says, why am I hearing these voices? All right. Um, I don't know. I'm not qualified to answer that. So you may want to talk to your psychologist and figure that out. Emily says, I also had to delete social media because it's triggering. Uh, okay. Siaran Nanasi says, can HOCD make it harder to remember some things because your mind is constantly focused on these thoughts? It's not just HOCD. When you're constantly distracted and you have so many things, it's like having a shotgun and you shoot it and you expect it to hit the target of your choice. It wouldn't, it just goes everywhere. So, but you have a sniper gun, you can really aim and focus on that one thing. So, when your mind is focused, then you can remember things. But when your mind is scattered and unfocused and distracted with all these kind of shit that is fearful and scared and try to deal with it and frantically is trying to find answers and debate with it and so on. So, obviously, you can't be focused. So, in other words, you need to practice some meditation and learn how to focus and to bring the ripples of your mind, the activity of the mind down low. So the brain starts learning to relax and be inactive rather than so much activity, at least to a very big point to be inactive, less active. And when you meditate, GABA neurotransmitters increase about 39%, which is huge. And many other neurotransmitters are secreted. Growth hormones are secreted. I don't know, I think about 400% or something like that. Some neurotransmitters are. I have the video on that you guys can watch it. I don't know what the name was, but there's a video there about it, about all these neurotransmitters and the effect of meditation and so on. And serotonin is and oxytocin. All these neurotransmitters that you need to promote. So I hope that answers your question. Emily says, do you know if medication helps with OCD? Well, there are some medications that some psychologists, psychotherapists eventually may prescribe. But most good psychologists and psychotherapists don't want to use medication because they want the person's brain to be retrained and learn on its own, not to be dependent on medication. But you can talk to your psychologist, psychotherapist, because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, I am not a psychotherapist, and I don't have qualifications to talk about medicine. Um, Siran says, thank you, you're welcome. Column says, Siran says, I thought I'm going crazy. Well, distraction, there's so many things distract us today. So you got to, just like you go to the gym and strengthen your, muscles, there are exercises that you got to strengthen the brain, focusing abilities and so on. Yeah. Guys, don't forget about pick up the merch that I have put on the channel to 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 help the channel to be financially in a standing that it could do advertisement and so on. So go on the channel, look at the t-shirts and sayings on it. Choose your saying in the t-shirt, and then pick up one, and at the same time use it. Use a t-shirt, remind yourself of something important to remember and go by, and at the same time, it will support the channel. And Emily says, I have really bad anxiety and I thought medication could help, but I'm not sure. Well, ask your psychologist. Ask your psychotherapist, and research it and ask them, and then because, as I said, I'm not qualified to talk about medication. So looks like we have answered all the questions, guys. No, and Theodore. Oh, okay, you're talking to. Oh, or how answer the questions, by the way? Maybe not. Cute says Theodore. Oh, okay. Let's see what's going on. I've lost the train of here. Cute says, "Hi, Meran, 23, female, London. Hello, Cute. I'm tormented by thoughts of my ex having sex with his new girlfriend. Why are you tormented? The hell with him. He's the only guy in the world. You know how many guys are probably chasing you if you allow them, if you just open your eyes? Who cares? People can people can do whatever they want. They have choices. He chooses to be with somebody else, that disqualifies him in your mind to be with you. Instead of being terrified, tormented, it's something normal. What did you expect him when he uh, chooses to break up with you? To become a monk in some monastery? Of course, he's going to have sex with somebody else. And so will you. You can see who's qualified, who's proper, and you choose them, and then you will have sex with them. How come it doesn't torment him? Why should it torment you? Stop thinking of the guy. Stop thinking about the guy's value according to your need. Focus on his actuality and judge him based on his actions and attentions to you, not based on your need to feel good about yourself by having somebody paying attention to you. If he's not paying attention to you, he's not qualified. If he's not with you, he's not qualified to have your attention. He doesn't deserve your attention. Why are you thinking that someone who is not with you deserves you? Someone who is not spending time with you and paying attention to you deserves your attention. That's the question. Um, Cute says, I'm trying, but they shared their sex life so much to spite me. Well, you have a choice. The choice is, why should you be spiked? Don't give a shit. Devalue them. If if they're so miserable that their happiness would be to spite you, like, or what is it, spite you with their sexual, I mean, this is so stupid. I mean, really, do you think this you're here in this world to actually be affected by some ex-boyfriend having sex with some other woman? I mean, is that how small your world has come? You really don't see other qualified people around in the world? No other opportunity? That's it? The whole world opened up his ass and he fell down, and that's it? That's the only thing you expect from this world? Him? And who? The guy who doesn't pay attention to you? You think he's worthy, qualified? A worthy man to you is the one who pays attention to you. If he doesn't, that's the end of his worthiness for you. Next. Next. All right. Have a little respect for yourself. Take care of yourself. Keep in shape. Go to the gym and keep yourself healthy. Eat good. Accomplish things you want to accomplish and stay fit. You will have confidence, and that confidence exudes outwardly, and it will attract so many candidates. And then you'll have the, pick of the litter. You will choose according to what you think is suitable, not the only thing that's available. What you what your need is telling you. Oh, you gotta have. What happens if you have the guy? So what happens? What does he bring into your? You can see what he brings you. Look what his actions is, his representation of him. Is that the kind of a person you want? The one who doesn't pay attention to you and goes and with somebody else? No, so that should be disqualified. And when you disqualify someone, the bloody hell, walk away. That's it. You can't be disqualifying someone and then still wishing for it. Why? Where's your respect for yourself? Don't make me write your name on the ugly stick, just careful now. All right. Saz says, let's see. Hi, Meran. Want to know about HOCD? How to discern real homosexuality and HOCD, please. Thanks for your work. I have had number of videos on these sort of things. So just please watch them. I can't explain to you everything here, but there's one very simple thing. First of all, watch the playlist I have under the name Intrusive OCD, HOCD short videos. That will show you the most important part of your learning about your brain. That you're not the brain is not you. There's a separation between brain, you, and thought. That's the most important part of the whole thing about HOCD, because many people don't seem to understand. What comes to their head is not their representation, is not them. They should not identify with it because that's the brain's thoughts. And brain is not you. You have to understand that. And what tells you that you are this or that, what gender you are not, is the brain. But brain had no business, had no part in giving you the inclination and the gender that you are when you were being put together in the wombs of your mother. There was no brain involved. There was no thought or speech or availability of thinking capabilities was there. So brain thoughts had nothing to do with your gender when you were being put together. So it can never have anything to do with changing you because it thinks this way or that way. Hmm? It's brain's thinking. That is not determining. It's like your brain says, "Oh, you have two liver." Doesn't happen. You can think it that way, but in reality, you don't have two liver. One. Your brain can say your kidney is your heart. Can say, but it's not. Hmm? But the one thing I can tell you here is short, but you go watch other videos that I put together and talk to psychotherapists and psychologists and who are specializing in OCD, HOCD. So, but the one thing I can tell you why you can tell that this is HOCD and it's not your gender, whatever your gender is, homosexual people have HOCD that they think they're heterosexual. Heterosexual people have HOCD that it suggests that they're homosexual. So it's for all genders. It's not like just this. So, but what I can tell you is very simple. Very, very simple. That if you are homosexual or not, and if one is homosexual, if you're heterosexual or not. Very simple. Awareness only presents itself when there's a contradiction. If there's a contradiction, there will be awareness. Contradiction is what? Is between something that it is and something that is not. So if there's an awareness in you, a question, awareness that there's a contradiction between what you are and what the brain suggests, that means you're not gay. If you're heterosexual and there's an awareness, that's why you're asking this question. That's an awareness. Look at it. Look at what you said. You're asking, how can I know? That awareness that tells you something is not according to what you prefer and what you want, and you're asking, I don't want this, that means the existence of contradiction. That means there's an awareness, and the awareness is telling you there's an existence of contradiction. That awareness is telling you the answer. If there was no awareness, like if my brain says, oh, you're heterosexual, I don't have a question. I'm not seeking any answer. Yeah. So there's no contradiction between what the brain says and what I am. You like women, yeah? There's no awareness. It's just, but when there's a question, there's an awareness. Because there's a contradiction, there's a question. There's an awareness. That already tells you, because there's an awareness of a contradiction, that means you're not what the brain says you are. Because if you were, you would not notice any awareness, because there would be no contradiction between what the brain says and what you say. Can you see it? Can you see it? The fact that you sit here, think about it. The fact you sit in your room and question it. The fact that you say, I don't want this. What is this? Why is it like? These are all contradiction. These are awareness of a contradiction. And when there's a contradiction, that means, well, that's a contradiction. That's not me. That's something other than me. Therefore, end of the story. Now you got to figure out what HOCD behavior is, and then deal according to that to rewire it back and help it to come back to what is normal for you, what's always been. All right. Yeah, many people have had this experience of HOCD in the lockdown. As I mentioned to you, when the brain is not occupied and pursuing things that it normally did, it always comes back to find something to occupy itself. And the best thing for it to get a rise out of you and get debates and interaction, energy exchange, in order to create business and occupation, to find its security. Because if you remember, we talked about it, brain finds security in occupation. Therefore, when there's a lockdown and there's not much things that occupies your mind based on what you always did during the daily life, all the plans, all the responsibilities, all the things, this and that, and boredom and the lack of occupation, lack of business, lack of mechanical processes, but the brain still needs to feel secure and find security in occupation, so creates that busyness, thoughts, occupation. About what? About what's most basic to human life: sexuality. That's what it can think. It's always been, because all your childhood, all through our life, we're thinking about sex all the time. So, what's the most common and natural thing for the brain when there's a lockdown and can't find anything to occupy itself to bring security to it, is to think about sex. It's because it's always been there. Every 5, 10, 20 seconds, if you're not busy in life, you've been thinking about sex. So, when there's nothing else to do, what is the brain going to be thinking? Sex. And in this case, it's going to think about, well, I'm not seeing you, I'm not doing so. So how can I be sure that I am there? How can I be sure that all this is, plus the malfunction of the brain and all the signaling system and all that? Through pandemic, it's been lot more than other times. Now let's see. What have I missed here? Sid says, "Hello, Marin, male 23, Estonia. So happy that you're here. Wanted to say, oh, so happy to see you. Just wanted to say things. Okay, yeah, yeah, we got that one. Oh, there's another one. It says, I do need an advice though. Why do I see every girl as a potential mate and how to avoid that? You don't have to avoid it. That's how we are. Every girl, because we are usually, unless we are, we are consciously trying to avoid it, good men usually, I mean, men usually are programmed to take responsibility for women and to treat every woman as something so precious. And when it's precious, they want to hold on to it. So every woman that you meet, that the criteria of you liking her physical or behavior is met, makes you want to turn the joy of knowing her into permanent, in order to give psychological security and permanence to what you love. This is what we do. We always want to hold on to things that we like. Yeah. We want to have it, own it. Yeah. Keep it permanent. So that's why if you find someone that you really like, you want to turn into permanent. And you consider every woman who meets your aesthetic standards as qualified already. You don't go any further to qualify them for a year or so and then make a decision. This is how we are, because in the olden days, the million years ago, there was no qualification period. You see, you like it, you both allow it, you boom, boom, and you make babies. But now there are qualifications needed. And so instead of giving a year or so to qualify each other, you see a woman, she meets your aesthetic standards, and you go back with your um, historic programming. You see she's qualified, because that's all it was necessary for a man to think a woman is qualified for procreation, which meant permanent relationship. So it's a normal thing that you're doing. It's not like you need to avoid it. You just got to be aware that, listen, I got to have a little bit of qualification, because every woman that meets my aesthetic standards, it's a natural instinct of a man to consider that woman qualified. That's it. We consider every woman that meets our aesthetic expectations. In other words, you have sexual interest towards her. You know, you want to be intimate with her. That to you is a signal that that's a good seat, and therefore I want to make it permanent, because it's about survival. You think if she meets your aesthetic qualifications, that's a good seed, and you want to have a child that comes from a good seed. It's a psychological thing that's been for millions of years. That's why aesthetics are so important, to be turned on. Now, not necessarily in a certain shape, but to be turned on towards a woman that you like is very important. When you're turned on, you've considered her qualified, because that turn on means she has a good seed. And then for your own survival, you want your child to come from a good seed. So you select her. And that selection to you interprets as a, a potential of the wife material, of a permanent relationship, of a long-term relationship. So you consider every woman. I bet you don't consider every woman that you meet. You consider every woman that meets your aesthetic standards as to be qualified, not just every woman that you meet. So now that you're aware of it, you may increase the items of qualifications before you make that decision. But it's not that easy, because we men are designed to think of any woman who meets our aesthetic qualification. By default, she's qualified because everything else about her is perfect too. And then if you go forward and she's not that really hot looking, so to speak, but you like her manners and attitude, again, that turns you on, brings that psychological security, which brings that need to make that permanent. So these are the qualifications that are very important. Of course, the attitude and manners and the energy, the exchange is more important than the looks. That's for sure. But at the outset, there would be some kind of a aesthetic looks that would attract you. Then the next step, and if both match, then that's the time to decide, not one. So your way of thinking should be: I need two elements to be provided to meet my standards before I can conclude that this is a potential long-term relationship quality. One is the aesthetic, one is the mind and manner and behavior and the attention and the compatibility and the bonding on the conscious level, which that takes time. So first one is just the you know instigates the process, and that's immediate pretty much. The next one could give it a time. You got to give it time, at least a year, before the two elements are, uh, you know, have satisfied your standards, and then you can make a decision. Not before. That's how you can perhaps control it. Okay, looks like that we have answered all questions, haven't we? Saz, I have a video on denial. You can watch that. So just go on my channel and write denial, and that video comes up. Okay, looks like we have answered all the question, haven't we? Oh, we haven't. Okay. Christopher Aubrey says, "Hello, Meran. Been a long time. My ex is the one who got with the 23-year-old." Yeah, I remember that. You're into carpentry, aren't you? Construction, carpentry type of thing. Am I right, Christopher? And says, "Hello, Meran. It's been a long time. My ex is the one who got with the 23-year-old when she was 40. They are now engaged." Poor the 23-year-old. He must have a really soft head that doesn't even understand. So I feel nothing about this as I've learned to be in control of my thoughts. Okay. Many thanks, Chris. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, you just have pity on that idiot 23-year-old. Well, that poor thing doesn't know what he's being juiced out, because he's going to be working for that piece of work. And it's unfortunate that he's had no proper guidance. He should have no business with a 40-year-old woman. 23-year-old man is a boy and is trying to find some experience in his life. And his biggest challenge is to find someone who likes him. And the 40-year-old, who's full-fledged woman, beautiful and hot or whatever, is unleashes her sexuality on a young man, it's un, it's uncivilized. It's taken advantage, and he's going to be a slave. That's it. And mentally, he's going to be conditioned to obey, and it's not gonna end well anyhow. That's 100% sure. I mean, unless he's just dumb shit idiot that has no respect for his life. It's a time for him to experience life, to learn a thing or two. He's got no business being with a 40-year-old woman. And that 40-year-old woman must be a real witch. He should not go after 23-year-old and destroy his life for her own gain and benefit. And unfortunately, I'm leaning toward that the 40-year-old woman eventually going to leave him, because that's the cycle of it. She's going to get bored and she's going to still want some dominant male, and the poor thing is going to actually learn a lesson in a hard way. But so be it. He'll learn it. Hopefully, he'll move on. And you go count your stars, Chris. I hope that you're doing good. Alexandra Puskarova says, hello, Meran. Alexandra, female 24 from Europe. Hello, Alexandra. Says, I am unable to move on from my ex. You're not unable. You don't want to move on. This unable is the biggest bullshit you can feed yourself. You are able. You just don't want to. You should want to. If you want, you can do it. It says, I'm unable to move on from my ex and have temptations to contact him. He left me in 2020 after 3 years together, saying he saw me more as a friend. Fuck him. Let him go. I have that temptation feeling that I still care about him. Why? You care about him because you don't think much about yourself. It's not that you care about him. You don't care about yourself. You know, it's a difference. You think about it. If you start value yourself and understand what you offer, then you care and love yourself and value yourself, then it would be not so easy to impress you by somebody just walking in the door and having a little bit of a qualities, because your expectations has gone up. So one thing is that you don't love yourself as much, don't value yourself as much. The second is that you don't have enough expectations. Your expectations are just somebody that you've been before, because you're now finding it difficult to find a qualified person with the given circumstances of the world, of course. That's understandable. But you still got to have standards. You can't just say, because there is not much good water, I'm going to drink this shit water because there's no other good water. Yeah, but this is going to make you sick too. So what's the use of drinking this shit? So you can't say, because there's not much available, then my standards should reduce itself. No, because you're going to get sick. You're not going to be happy. And this particular person obviously is not qualified to be with you. Why? Because if he was, he would have been with you. One reason or another, it didn't work out. You, him, whatever. So why do you still want someone who doesn't want you? How could your standards, as low as it could be, include, I want someone who doesn't want me? How could that be a acceptable condition or situation? Because this is the fact. If the guy wanted you, would be with you. If it says, I think more of a friend about you, then fuck you, go away. But the question is, why do you still want some idiot who says, I think of you more like a friend, which means I'll have you whenever I want you. I'll throw you on my finger, and I also have whatever I want somewhere else. Now, you make a decision. If you're okay with that, go ahead. No problems. But if you're not okay with it, then you make a decision. You have a choice. And what are you going to call when you call the guy? What are you going to say? You have a temptation to call him. So just, he hasn't called you for so long or whatever. And now you think all he's waiting is for you to call him and then say, "Oh, darling, you called me. So perfect. I'm coming over right now and ask you to marry me." If the guy hasn't called you, what's this temptation going to bring you? It's going to make you even floor lower. That it's going to, ride high. Why don't you accept the fact that there are circumstances that simply they don't add up to what you are looking for? If you were okay for a temporary situation and have, enjoyment and so on and so forth, okay. But if the guy is already with somebody else or whatever it is that is not with you, why do you want to be with him? Find out what is the reason for you wanting to be with someone who doesn't want to be with you. That's the question. Not that I'm tempted to call him 3 years ago. And since what? You broke up 2 years ago. What the hell is wrong with you? How old are you? 24. At that age, you're thinking that this is the only guy? Once you open your eyes, guys are lining up for girls. I don't know how you look like. I don't know how fit you are. I don't know how you take care of yourself. But this is what most guys are drawn to. If you're not fit, go get fit in a healthy way. If you're not taking good care of yourself, take care of yourself by educating yourself, learning something, have a good career, have something that makes you feel confident. If you're not having good nutrition, change that, take care of yourself, and value yourself, love yourself, and feed yourself proper nutrition, proper health regimens, proper fitness and exercises. And it may take time, but bring yourself to a physical and mental shape that you will be feeling confident because of your accomplishment. That will bring guys at your door one after the other, because you're female. When you're walking, everybody's looking. So if you have that presence and that confidence, then that's an invitation. When they come close, they find about you that you have a career, you have a job, you have education, you have mentalities that has got so many good things about you. And so they bond. Good quality men would bond with you unconsciously. Then you've got something going. Otherwise, just constantly thinking, "Oh, my worth and value is depending of the guy that I was with will come back or not." Can you hear me? I know you do. Okay. Yeah, well, it's not just one way. If you wish to have the relationship repaired, it takes two to tango. If the guy is not with it, let him go. Once you stop pursuing the guy, if the guy has any interest or any, interest in quality woman, then he'll start calling you back. But if you keep calling him, you will remain where you are, which is nowhere, the friend zone. Yeah. You need to move on, find other qualified men to acquaint yourself with and socialize and see if they're qualified. Then, have a relationship, provided they're qualified. And then that itself would put you in a different mentality, which you wouldn't want to get back to the guy. The guy might want to come back. That's too late anyhow. So you start first focus on respecting yourself right now and build yourself to qualities that you think it will give you confidence. That's what you should be focusing on. Okay, Theodore, keep it up. Keep going. Don't be so impatient. Just keep on at it. It takes time to rewire the brain. Yes, Emily. Yeah, HOCD behaves that way. Keeps bringing bullshit and and tries to reanalyze, tries to come up with thoughts about the past, tries to change the motivations or interpretations of the past behavior. Any fucking thing that it finds, it tries to convince you, use it to convince you of something that is actually not true. So don't fall for that shit. That's what HOCD brain does. Nova says my question wasn't answered earlier. Of course it was. Yo, Nova says you missed my question. No, I didn't. I remember I answered your question, Nova. There was one. I don't see it. It says, thank you for the great explanation on how intrusive thoughts can affect how your body reacts to the thoughts and how these reactions can make you fearful. Yeah. So that was not a question, that was a statement. So, oh, there is one here. It says, hello, Mehran. 21 male, female, 21 male, Florida, USA. How do we not let intrusive thoughts made by our brain to not cause too much distress and prevent us from doing work we were already doing prior to the thoughts? The problem is that you think thought has a power, that it allows you or doesn't allow you. Thought by itself has no power. What gives power to thought is you. You are the only power on earth that can allow a thought to go outside of the consciousness to the actuality of the world, and through your action allow it to become an actuality, or you let it die by the wayside, fall by the wayside, and never see the light of day. You're the only power that can do that. So the idea that you say, how can I prevent what? How do we not let intrusive thoughts made by our brain to not cause too much stress? These are all, you're thinking the thought has this power. Thought is a suggestion, is it just some kind of a illusional thing. You're the only one that can give it life or not. So the question is rigged to you. So that's it. You're taking thought as facts, as you determining, as a guidance, as your boss, and you think what thought comes in, you should now, have a way to stop them. They can't do anything. You're the only thing that can make them be anything by your attention. You don't pay attention to them, they die. But you believe that you should pay attention to them, then that's their work. Hmm? So I hope that answers your question. Just hang on. Okay. So, and the Lugani says, good evening, Mehran. Salam 24 Mail, London. How do you decide between two goals? I'm thinking of going abroad to make money to pay university, or staying in London and converting to a specific religion. What are you talking about? Completely two different things. One is going to make money, one is converting to religion. I don't think. Uh, Maybe we should have a longer discussion on that. Go make an appointment on my Skype, and then through Skype we'll have some kind of a appointment, some kind of a discussion. But this this doesn't tell me much. Sorry, Nilugani. So, all right. Omar Rashid says, "Hi, Miran. Thanks so much for all your helpful material. I'm not okay. Oh, sure. Okay, we talked about that. All right. Let's see who else is here. Alexandra, we answered that. Deep Diver is here. Says, "Hi, sunshine. Hello, darling. How have you been?" And Deep Diver says, "Oh, we're talking to Alexandra." Okay. Michael Jamie says, "Good day, Mehran. Good day, Michael." Says, "There seemed to be a heavy topic between myself and friends recently, and that relationship with large age gap between 10 to 15 years gap, age gap. What are your thoughts?" No, 10 to 15 years is not a large gap, is there? I mean, sometimes even a age difference of 30 years between a man and woman works. But you got to see the motivation of a woman who's 30 years younger and wants to be with a guy who's 30 years older. If they're still both physically fit and mentally somewhat compatible or at least tolerant of each other, okay, great. But in most cases, it's a bit, too much of a age gap. But 10, 15 years, especially if the guy is older than the woman, it's fine. It'll be okay. Again, depending on lots of variables, their physical situation, fitness, their interests, their compatibility. So, you know, so we have a Libra named Val. So you're born in Libra. Are you Libra? So is that why you put that in? So I guess October. Says, "Hi, Maran, female, 35, Texas. Howdy, Texan girl." And says, "I'm 30." Okay, she says, "Oh yes, she said it 2 times. I'm sorry, I just saw it, Val." And Michael says, "I'm 33, male, UK." By the way, thank you very much for that. You're welcome, Michael. So Val, hello back, but that's all I see from here. There's nothing else there. Guys, if we don't have any more questions, I guess it's time for me to wrap it up and maybe go get some stuff that I wanted to buy, some protein powders and bars and goodies that sometimes you don't want to get up and go to the kitchen, but you just want, especially if you're out and about. And then maybe I hit the gym and then maybe go for a walk by the beach late night. So, do we have any question? Michael says the gap is currently 33 and 19. Who's 33 and who's 19? Ah, I have steered away from it as I'm not sure it's appropriate. Well, look, If you're 33, let's see, I guess it is you, isn't it? Yeah, you're 33. And she's 19. It will work if you can be, if she is in a more state of awareness of herself or not. Depends. Because if she's just a 19-year-old, she's still a child in a way. Not a child, I don't want to disrespect her. She could still be not as mature as she should be or she would have wanted to be. You see, at 19-year-old, she feels she's a full-fledged woman and she feels as she is. But in reality, compared to what she will think of herself in 2, 3 years or 4 or 5 years from now, she's not. The problem is herself. That 5, 6 years from now, she's going to say, well, I was a child. I didn't know better. And she wants to move on. Because 5, 6 years from now, you're about 39 and she'll be 26. That'll be perfect. But she may feel that she now has other opportunities. She wants to try other guys because she didn't as many or as much when she was 19. And she's going to use the excuse of, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. I was a kid. While at the moment you ask her, says, no, I'm perfectly mature. I know exactly what I'm doing. And I love you and I want to be with you. I want to be your wife and all that stuff like that. Who knows? But she will choose this when she's 26 or 27 and say, well, I didn't know. You knew it. You should have told me. So what the hell is going on here? Either you're of legal age or not. 19 in most places is legal age. So you need to have a chat with her. It says, listen, how's you? And if you and her decide, both of you, to stay in a relationship, then you might be ready at any time that she may not stick it on. She may not stay. She may find herself that, oh, I'm so young, I haven't experienced much. So now she starts going to disco at age 26, and wants other opportunities and other guys and other attentions. So this maybe needs a heart to talk and clarify it for her. So she will never say, oh, you should have told me. And you can of course say, well, I'm not your daddy. I'm not supposed I'm in love with you. I was in love with you then. So I wasn't gonna try to convince you not to be with me. But at the same time, you might want to make a note of this conversation if you guys decided to stay together. So if she ever comes back and says, listen, you should have told me, I didn't know better, you were much more mature than me and you should have told me that I may want to, then you say, listen, here it is. Anyhow, what can I say? And Sibo says, you missed my question. Did I, Sibo? Let's go. Let's go see, find Sibo's question. Sibo. Sibo, I don't see a question here. There is none from you, my friend. No, I don't see any question from you. So maybe you want to reprint it. Deep Diver says, great advice as usual. Thank you, my dear. Charles DC says, Charles, male 34, Belgium. Oh, bonjour, monsieur, or bonsoir. Comment ça va aujourd'hui? And says, hello, Meran. Hope you're okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Charles. Deep Diver says, how, Meran, how do you spot a player? Well, a player you mean someone who just is looking to get between your legs, yeah? That's what you call player. and doesn't have any intention for long-term relationship. Is that what you mean? Well, if that's the case, or someone who's not telling the truth about his situation and just wants to get some intimacy from you, there are different scenarios. I guess you would look for how compliant he is. Like everything you say, he says okay. Hmm, maybe that's not really the case. Give me a scenario. Give me a certain things that they're doing, at least, then I can go on that. Otherwise, there's so many characters that they could be genuine at the beginning, or at the beginning, from the beginning, they could not be genuine. You can't tell much unless you're actually seeing it. If it's a girl and I'm meeting a girl that is, I can figure out if she's a player or not. Easy, because I'm there. But for you, I don't know, because I don't know what the guy is doing. If you explain it to me, I'd be able to. Yeah, smooth talking. Yeah. Well, sometimes, the guy is so infatuated by you, or maybe sexually aroused so much, lust for you, that he doesn't know that he's playing, because he's not playing. He's just trying to be accommodating to the point that would favor him the biggest prize that he's looking for, to be able to be with you. And that's a big motivation that the guy himself may not be actually noticing that it comes across as a player. But the player is a narcissistic behavior, someone who goes hot and cold and hot and cold, and that's a player. But someone who's consistent is not usually a player, unless you can tell he's just being cheesy and is trying to just, as you said, smooth talk everything. Everything is good. There's no standards, no nothing, whatever you do. Well, again, that's also a questionable gray area, but that at least tells you something. So unless I really know what's happening, what the guy is doing, I won't be able to. Okay, she says, like a guy comes back to me and wants to communicate. Well, He's gone home. He hasn't had anything around. He hasn't had much chance with other girls. Now he's horny. So he's coming back, wants to communicate, because his motivation is now intimacy, missing that sex. And whether he's purposely or unpurposely playing, or actually he thinks he's genuine, he's coming back. But the motivation is important. You can tell a player what his motivation is. If his motivation is, pretty much not going anywhere, not doing anything, and not sharing lots of personal things with you, and not interested in hearing your personal challenges and your life and stories, then he's a player. He's looking for something, and only to his pleasure. But if someone is actually paying attention to you and makes meaningful conversations, and dedicates time to things that are not necessarily sexual, and it's for your comfort, and the care shows, and then you can see that as what it is. Yeah, it's as much as I can say. Deep Diver says, I say, what's your intention of communication? He says he wants to honor me. No, he wants to fuck you. That's what that's what he wants to do. Oh, he wants to communicate to honor me. You had the chance to honor me by your behavior and the interaction. Now you've gone and you want to communicate to honor me. What the hell does that mean? What's the motivation of this favor that you want to honor me? You should ask him that. So I say, how do you plan on honoring me? That's my girl, smart girl. You know what he's after. He's after. So just don't sell it cheap, darling. Don't sell it cheap. let him let him make efforts. Say, okay, you know, you know the labyrinth in games, you know, in Farsi they say Hafkhane Rostam. So let him pass through different labyrinths with different tasks, and until he shows his loyalty before he gets to the prize. Hey, darling. So okay. Let me move on. Okay. Uh, Sibo says, my question, he says, oh, really? Yes, I didn't find it. Oh, sorry about that. Sibo says, my question was how to deal with fact that I miss having sex with my ex-GF. What do you mean how to deal with it? Well, there are certain, certain ways that one can get over that. I'm sure you know what to do, and that takes the immediate need away. And and he says, I dream about it almost every night. Find a new girlfriend. You're too horny. You can't even think. It's look. I'm talking about males right now. It could be the same for a female, but I don't know. So male think about sex almost all the time when they're not busy in the mind and not doing something. It could be every 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds. And because you constantly think about sex, when you don't have a girlfriend, but yet the thought of sex constantly is there, the most recent girlfriend comes to the picture when you think about sex. And you think that it is her that you really want. It's just the fact that's how it is. That's the most recent experience, sexual experience, is the girl that comes to mind. Not necessarily that that's an indication that she's the most qualified one for you. So it says, I dream about a cigar. It kind of hurts. Well, yeah, so what? You're a man. You can take it. So it hurts. Lots of things hurts. But just because something hurts, that doesn't mean I could go and get it. Well, you've been there, you tried, and it didn't work out, and she has the right to make her decisions according to what's best for her, and she thought it's best to move on. Okay, she did. You got to respect that. You can't just say because I think about sex with her all the time, so I got to go and change her mind. Well, okay, try, but if she doesn't, you have to respect that, and I'm sure you tried already. So the fact that it's difficult is no justification for you to linger and stay and swim in it. I have many people, many clients who call and say, I feel very sad. I feel hurt. I feel she was the only woman that I wanted. Well, I'm hurting. I think my soul is gone. Well, these are things that you think, but it doesn't have to be that way. You have a choice. You can say, no, okay, that happened. It's not together anymore. That's fine. I'll move on. I'll find somebody else. You have a choice. But if you decide to stay in there and entertain the whole sadness and sorrow and so on, that's your choice. It's not like she has such power over you. She doesn't let you move on. No, you have decided not to move on. You have decided to make her the princess of the world and the only pussy that you can ever have. That's your choice. Change that thought, change the feeling, and you move on. But if you are lazy, you don't want to go and try to get to know other women and to see how amazing they are, what they have to offer, qualify for them and qualify them for you. Then if you don't want to do any of that, obviously you're going to be constantly thinking about your ex because that's the easier one. And that's the one you had the experience with, so you think that's a possibility because it was possible. It's a reality for you. because the brain doesn't understand the reality and actuality. And you have had this experience, so that whenever you think about it, brain thinks, oh, that's possible, it's still possible, so that's the easier one, that's the one available. So you relinquish all efforts for doing other things and finding other mates and other women, you know? So it's your choice. It's not her fault, and it's not such a power that is holding on to you. It's you're the one who's actually commanding yourself to stay in the water that you're swimming in. Get off of it, get out, and go on other ventures, and they'll be fine. You'll find other women. So Deep Diver says, I say, how do you want to honor me? Right. And he said, I have no plans. He has. He just doesn't know it. Says, then I tell him, give me 3 reasons to communicate with you and 3 reasons I shouldn't. Good girl. You're really putting him to the task. he, he, he must be really into you. So obviously, you know why he wants to come back. Because obviously he has no plans. And you want plans, I know. Okay. So Michael says, by the way, in 2016, you helped me get through the toughest breakup of my life. I could barely function or sleep. Then I found your channel. I found your content, and it completely transformed me, the way I see relationships. And that was Pebbles. Oh, yes. That's a good video. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. Thank you. I'm delighted that you enjoyed it and you were helped through that video. And thank you for sharing that and for the kind words. Michael says, I thank you for that. Wanted you to know that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Says, I thank you for that. Wanted you to know it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. I'm delighted to hear that. And maybe you can use that to promote the channel somewhere, somehow. And guys, don't forget about the merch to support the channel. I'm wearing one of them. So you have a monk sitting in waterfall and meditating, and they have different sayings and different t-shirts. You can use any t-shirt with any saying on it. You can choose it. And it says, this one says, it's not important how difficult it is. It's important that it is possible. So that's pretty much the story of life is, don't focus on the degree of difficulty of something. Focus on the fact that it's possible to do. All right, we go back to Deep Diver. Says he is a journalist, Mehran. You told me about him. He was a journalist a few years ago. You met, and he's coming from a different country, I believe, or he works for some kind of a big organization, and he would come and go. I think I remember that. No? Am I remembered correctly? Says, and is very good in smooth talking. Yeah. He knows I love intellectual conversations and tries to use that method. But I realize intellectual conversation is not enough for me. Yeah, of course not. Of course not. That's what maybe is entertainment in a way. But in actuality, you want certain kind of a compatibility on other fronts, other activities, other common things that you might want to share, and of course, physical involvement and expectations should be compatible as well. Everything should be in the package. So if he doesn't have it, then the smooth talking is not going to do it. While if somebody is really good looking and it's not a smooth talker, that could work. But the other way of it is kind of hard if it's not included in the package. And Deep Diver says, so I came to your channel to enjoy intellectual conversation. He said, aha, darling, I love you too. That's a very good compliment. I appreciate that. I'm glad that we are good for something, at least. Listen, guys and girls, this is now time for me to say I should mosey on out and go and do the stuff that I wanted to do. Otherwise, it's already 4 o'clock. So I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to talk to you again, unless we have a spontaneous live stream during the week. But otherwise, I look forward to see you next week at 1 p.m. Vancouver time. So check your or set your timers. I know you will right now. Everybody's check. And also, don't forget to promote the channel, help the channel. And Deep Diver said, "You're fantastic. Thank you. You're quite welcome, Deep Diver." And Michael also waves, and everybody is sending love to everybody. That's great. So, in the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. Don't forget the t shirts and promote the channel. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.